We usually have a little bit of banter leading in, but we had it off camera with our special guest, Jackie Sawicki. So this is the BroadsCast, week 24 in NSL action, actually entering into week 25, but we are going to celebrate the standouts of week 24. And somebody who's played every single week in NSL, our special guest today is Jackie Sawicki for the Calgary Wild. I'm Amy Walsh. Signa Butler joins me, as does Shireen Ahmed, as per usual. But we're really happy to have you here, Jackie. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we were just, you were actually commiserating with us because we were talking about our technological challenges and perimenopause and middle-age stuff, which is what all our listeners love to tune in for. And you were saying that at 32, I hope you don't mind me revealing your age, you were the oldest. You are the elder stateswoman on the Calgary Wild. So how does that feel?
Yeah, I feel like it was just yesterday that I was going into teams being the youngest on the team and not having any experience. So this time really has just flown by. Yeah, I try and pretend I'm still young and with it and try not to let myself get run around by the young ones on my team. So I mean, it is what it is. I think everyone gets to this point in their career, and this is where I'm at now. So,
well, I feel like you conceal it quite well, whether it's us seeing your face here in the podcast or in media. You're very youthful looking. You certainly don't look your age, and you certainly don't look your age on the pitch. So as long as you would like to continue, I'm sure there is a spot for you in NSL and with the Wild. It's been a joy to cover you. I know Signa could say the same thing, and Shireen as well. But yeah, we always like to talk about our age here and how we're sort of beating that number that's usually associated with our age. But something that I've heard, and then I'll pass the baton to my fellow co-hosts here about you, is that dance was a big part of your youth. Is it still equally as big a part of your maybe not necessarily pregame routine, but of your life now at 32?
No, it isn't, unfortunately. Yeah, I danced competitively for about 9 years, simultaneously with football alongside. And then it just got to the point where the schedules were conflicting too much, and then obviously we try and specify in one thing, and I kind of just saw myself going further in the sport of soccer. So yeah, I would say that was my first love, though. So deep down, it is somewhere in me, but definitely don't train in it extensively anymore.
Not bringing moves in the dressing room.
I feel that when I'm competing and I'm performing in something specific, there's another side of me, and then when I'm in this social setting, that is not me. I'm quite shy and reserved when it comes to that. I let my other teammates kind of take the spotlight there.
So there is somebody that fills that role, because I know the locker rooms that I was part of, like there were always like the little pockets of people. They were the quieter ones who wanted the calm before the game that was necessary for them for their prep. But then there was the other side, the other end of the spectrum, and I was kind of somewhere in the middle, where I would like kind of check in with everybody else, but there was always the ones that they felt the most like themselves and the most at ease being like the performative, like letting all that energy out. But that's not you on game day, is what you're saying.
No, that is not me. You will see me kind of just chilling, and I love to observe it, though. It's hilarious and entertaining.
So I love that to watch.
Danny Steer brings out the moves every now and again, and it is hilarious.
I love it.
I have a question. You've mentioned, Jackie, that you're the oldest. Are you the shortest on the team?
Yeah, pretty sure. I always am. Except on my Philippines team, I might be taller than a couple of them, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm the shortest as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's not height, it's might. My mom says that. She's 5'2.5".
I love that.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's what I tell myself until I'm going up against headers against Ali Hess or whoever else is on the pitch playing in the midfield.
You mentioned your Philippines team. Can I give our listeners a little background on how you got hooked up with the Philippines team and yeah, maybe just start there and then I might have a follow-up for you.
Yeah, quite well. Initially, it wasn't so out of the blue. I was in Japan playing my first contract at the time. When they had initially reached out, I just think like getting my foot in the door initially, I really just wanted to focus on my club environment. Because honestly, when I was in Japan, I wasn't getting a lot of minutes. So it just didn't feel, I don't know what the right word is, I guess mature enough to kind of do both yet. And then about 5 years later, they had reached out again, but I was actually in this different phase of life where COVID had just happened. I had played another 2 years in Sweden. I transferred back home just to work and kind of do life a little bit more normal. And I wasn't playing professionally at all. I'd actually taken a whole 2 years off and was just working and playing in the local league with university alumni and just having fun. They had reached out and I had said, well, I don't actually know if you know this, but I don't play professionally anymore. So I am not going to be at the level and I am not going to be fit. And they said, well, camp is in a couple months. Like, if you want to just come check it out, like, feel free. So my partner at the time, I discussed it with him because I was living with him and I was like, should I do this? They had already qualified for the World Cup at the time as well. And he's like, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. And I was like, I just know what that international standard is like. And I'm just not there. And I only have 2 months to train. I don't really have anyone to train with. And I was like, okay, whatever. Let's just go at least once. And I just kind of put my head down, conditioned every day, was in the gym every day, tried to get touches as much as possible, trained with boys teams. At the time I was living in Victoria, so I was training with the Wave boys teams. Went into camp and then my life just completely changed from there. Have been part of that national team ever since, and then went back into the professional environment and signed with the Australian club, Western United.
That international experience wasn't new though. It wasn't your first time in that particular rodeo because you had also gone to a couple of camps for Poland as well. And I'm really interested in this idea of you're from Coquitlam, correct? You're BC gal.
Correct.
And
yeah. West Coast, Best Coast. Sorry.
Wow, there's two Nova Scotians.
I love the little Canadian. Sorry,
let me just throw that in there.
Shots fired, Signa. Wow. Okay, we'll give you this. You have better salmon, but that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say. But the idea of having opportunities overseas, which is coming more and more. There's a couple people in the league that also play internationally, Canadian born, like Tiffany Cameron is a reggae girl. Annika Toth plays for Slovakia. So like there's more. I'm just missing a bunch. But this idea, and how much more do you think that will help the growth and development in this country?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I was developing under the Canadian youth system, there just wasn't anything after that. Like once I'd done the U20 World Cup with Canada, it was like, I know that I've got such a big gap to kind of push to senior level, and there's no professional league, and there's no really semi-professional league either. It's like what am I supposed to do to develop? And I think there are a lot of really good players that just are kind of swept under the rug and aren't considered in the pool at all. And I think we're still seeing that today. Like DB Pridham, for example, like she's just scoring so many goals. I still don't understand, like, is she going to get called up? I feel like she probably deserves it at this point, to be completely honest.
I agree. We're clipping this, by the way. This is going on.
Yeah. Oh no. No, but like it just, so I think now if people are connected with like a different side of their family, it's like, why not? I know for myself, like I never grew up in a Canadian household. My mom was an immigrant. She had a very, very modest upbringing. My dad also immigrant, very modest upbringing. The two cultures combined was very different to, let's say, my best friends that were Canadian. So for me, even when I was in that youth system and I did cap once, I don't know if I ever really felt that strongly connected to the country that I was born in, just because I was raised quite differently. So yeah, I think definitely that gives people and players different opportunities. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to kind of go forward with that in that side of you. But yeah, I think it's just a really unique way to kind of progress in your career and be outside of North America.
Can I ask one more question about sort of the Philippines experience? And that is this year, and then maybe we'll get back to some NSL talk, but it might lead us into the NSL talk, because you did the Asian Cup qualifiers like during this season.
Yeah.
And now you guys have the opportunity, I guess it's next year in Australia, where you have the opportunity to qualify for another World Cup. But how was all that travel like this year? How did you navigate that? Like that was a lot.
It was horrible, if I'm being honest. That qualifying campaign also was during a period where all the teams got a bit of time off. And I had felt after all those club matches and doing international windows earlier on in the year, like my body was quite ready for a bit of time off as well. And different, as you probably know, like a lot of federations are in different financial states with their national teams. So are we getting business class flights? No, we're not. So I'm playing 90 minutes and then jumping on a flight after I just traveled from Ottawa already. So that was really difficult. I mean,
how long
as
were
an
those
athlete,
flights, Jackie?
To Cambodia, it would have been like over 20-hour travel because there's no direct flights. Yeah. I mean, as an athlete now for so long, like you get used to putting your mind in a state where you just get up for it no matter what. And like you use the resources around you, like getting treatment and doing the recovery and the 1%ers that you need to kind of know, like, okay, I'm about to play 3 games instead of get 10 days off. That was a challenging period, especially then coming back and having to play league games right off the bat. But you do it, and we qualified, and you pushed through, and here we are.
I want to go back to what you were saying about growing up in a household where both of your parents were immigrants and the ties that you felt maybe to where they grew up in those countries. So when you got that call, it's like a two-parter of a question. Your life as a footballer, I feel like probably changed. Like you take that leap of faith and you go, and then when you hear that anthem for the first time when you're representing the Philippines, do you truly feel almost complete at that point, like that you've made the right choice, that it's validating that this is exactly where I should be? And then the follow-up is, do you think if you don't get that call that you would be playing for the Calgary Wild today?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, because things kind of happened quite unconventionally when I came back into the professional environment, because Philippines had reached out before I even was in Australia yet. Probably not is like the short answer. When we first heard the national anthem at the World Cup, I mean, all of us just kind of burst into tears for sure. That was very, very emotional. I do feel a very strong connection when I'm singing that anthem, because I know that the game is so much more than football and the sport. I know that I'll use my mother as an example because I always do. Like, she was the only one in her family, a massive family, that kind of got out per se and got further education and created a better life for herself. So I know that I represent that whole side of that modest upbringing that she had and her family, that are just kind of there rooting and knowing that there's somebody else out there that's kind of representing them. So that's like the strong connection that I feel. And I don't know if I would be here if it wasn't for that opportunity a few years ago. Definitely.
I know we said that we would totally move on, but like, this is like so.
This is the
my
good
wheelhouse.
stuff.
This is
I
my
feel like
wheelhouse.
we might cry for a second straight.
I know.
And Jackie, one of the greatest parts of, not only covering in Australia the World Cup, was seeing that fandom. And I listened to the podcast done about your team and about the growth, particularly in a nation where football isn't the main sport. Basketball is so popular in the Philippines and people don't even know that. But the growth and the way when you guys scored, everybody cried. I can
giving me chills, honestly.
Yeah, but for you to bring that here, like, I'm of the opinion that this thing emboldens what we are continuously growing in Canada, Canadian women and girls soccer. So those contributions are felt here as well, because I saw Philippine flags everywhere during the World Cup when I came, like before going rather. And it was wonderful, and group watches and community watch parties. Like, it was wonderful. And I hope how that impact that you've had across the board. And do you ever just sit back and think about that?
I wouldn't say often, but I do have moments where, like when we were in New Zealand and we were playing Norway, we knew that game was going to be really, really tough. And then the stadium was sold out and everyone's echoing the national anthem at this point. Because we find the Filipino community isn't always aware of what is happening in the sport, but then they'll jump on the wagon once they do. And it just grows as the games go on. So by that third game, it was I feel like I'm in this euphoric out of body state. And that's when I really, really recognized the impact that we did have across the world, because there are Filipino communities everywhere. I'm sure you've come across them. We are everywhere.
We love them.
And are they big in Calgary?
I did come across a couple, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how are you dealing with the winters? Are you okay? Yeah, you'll come across them everywhere, honestly.
How about you? How did you deal with the winter, at least the beginning of the season?
Very unwell, yeah. I don't think I knew that Calgary had harsh winters, but I don't think I really realized it until I stepped outside and I was like, okay, we are not in Vancouver anymore. We are not in Australia. This is horrible. Thank God.
Does it not snow in BC ever?
Lately it does, but it usually doesn't stick. But the last few years, because of climate change, it has been getting, I guess, a little bit harsher, but it's just not as long. We just get a lot of rain. We love the rain. So yeah. But Sweden, I did live in Sweden and it was very, very cold there. Yeah.
Before we have rapid fire. Sana, do you want to get another one?
I want to just ask, because we talked a lot about your international thing, but can I ask one more? If you were to pick with the Wild this season, and maybe I know the answer to this question, but people always surprise me. But what was maybe your top two moments that you've experienced so far this season with the Calgary Wild?
Top two.
I'm giving you two.
I think one would have been the game at BC Place. We were really lucky to be able to be part of the first game ever for the whole league. So that was really special. And I think as a player from BC, I did a lot of national training center, BC provincial camps in that indoor facility, coaching clinics where I was just a player participant, helping coaches get their licensing. So kind of being in there, playing a game, there was such a good crowd, over 14,000. That was a huge moment and something that I'll remember forever, even though we lost, but still a historic moment to be a part of. And the second, that's a tough one. Maybe I'll say our first goal ever that we scored, which was Michaela Moore in Halifax. It was nice to just kind of let's get it in the back of the net, and we did. And that was an exciting moment as well.
I think it says a lot about you that you chose your team's first goal and not your first goal in NSL.
Well, it took ages, so
it doesn't matter. You still got it.
No, I think, I've always been a team player. I'm not a goal scorer. That's not really my thing. And I think you could just feel how excited we all were in that moment. And to do it on a away game too, it is hard to play away games. So yeah, I think, I'll always put the team above myself for sure.
I love that. Okay, one last one from me. I'm gonna sneak it in before we go to our rapid fire, which we always do with somebody who's new to Footy Prime the BroadsCast, as a way to get to know you and find out all the nitty gritty about our guest. But you were talking about going through the youth national team programs in Canada, and then once it came or like it drew to a close, that there weren't very many opportunities, and now you've been to Japan and to Sweden. And to Australia to ply your trade. And now it's almost full circle that you've arrived back in Canada where you can finally play professional football at home, right? Or one of the many homes that you do have, if you look at your parents' lineage. But how does it feel now, like where, you're 32, you said you're the oldest on the team, you're a veteran there, a key cog in the way that your team wants to play under Lydia Bedford. What are your feelings like when you sort of realize where you find yourself now that you're playing pro in Canada?
I think I have a lot of pride looking back on that and knowing that I decided and like just took it with my own hands that I was going to make a career out of myself when really there was nothing in the country, which is so crazy to say out loud. Every time I say out loud, I just can't believe it took so long to even launch this. But I really genuinely thought, once we got to this point where the Northern Super League was actually happening, that I would be in the stands. I didn't think I would be playing anymore. So to know that I'm still on the green, I'm still feeling good, I'm still running out there, I have a lot of pride, like individual pride, knowing that I've gotten to this point.
If you take a page out of Aaron McLeod's book, you got 10 years left. You're good.
That's right.
I know. My teammates always joke like, oh, you're going to be playing till you're 38, 40. I'm just like, oh God, the thought of like the recovery and the feeling you get after a game and then getting on flights. I'm like, you know what? Never say never, but we'll take it one day at a time.
Okay. All right. To the rapid fire. Okay, we don't want to keep you too long. We've already kept you over time, but I'll start first. So it doesn't have to be a long answer, just whatever comes to mind. So you need to gain weight quickly for a movie role. What's your go-to junk food to reach your goal and put on the weight?
Chips, 100%.
Oh,
Miss Vicky's.
Also
What kind?
I like all of them, but I'd say if I had to pick one flavor, it'd be sweet and spicy ketchup.
Ooh.
I love it.
Yep.
So fans in Calgary show up to the games, throw the mini bags at Jackie. Yeah.
Solid.
No, we're not trying to gain weight now.
But you could just like right after the game, you need that quick hit, right? You need to replenish the muscles. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll go number 2. If you're not listening to of the moment or popular tunes, what decade of music is in your earbuds?
90s for sure.
And who is the team DJ?
Maggie is actually. Yep.
Very interesting. Is that varied? Like, is it a bunch of different kind of tunes?
Yeah, it's genres. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know what we're gonna get. Yeah.
Nice.
That's kind. I'll go next. A little bit of chai spilling here. What NSL team do you love playing against? And what player do you hate playing against?
That's funny because I'm going to say I love playing against Ottawa, but I hate playing against Mina Lee.
Okay.
Which is, I find that our team gets up for that game. There may be a couple games that it wasn't our best, but I find we do play our best possession against that team, or we have. But Mina Lee is, yeah, she's a nightmare to mark, honestly.
Great answer. Okay, before I get to this one, I will just say that our Footy Prime, the podcast, an OG there is Craig Forrest, legendary goalkeeper that he is for Canada and first Canadian to play in the Premier League. He's from Coquitlam, and a longtime teammate of mine with the women's national team, Brittany Timko, now Baxter, also from Coquitlam. So just saying, you get to meet your sports hero. Who was it and why?
Oh, sports hero, like anybody.
Sure. Like childhood, like who your idol was or role model?
I think so. I always looked up to Cara Lang when I was growing up. I actually did a camp when we were in Brazil. The senior team did a camp alongside the U20s, and she was there. And after that camp, she announced her retirement. And she was very, very young at that age. I think she retired when she was 22, 23, something like that.
Yeah, she wasn't very old. She did, I think,
Yeah.
the first year under Herdman and then retired.
Okay, yeah. So I'd always looked up to her, and I think I would pick her and kind of pick her brain about what led her to retiring so young, which I'm sure that info is out there, but to just have that one-on-one conversation with her would be pretty cool.
We'll have you back and we'll bring Cara on because she's
Perfect.
she's out on the left coast, Bass Coast herself, down on Hermosa Beach. So we'll bring her back. She's a frequent contributor to the podcast. We'll have you both on.
Cool.
You're up, Sigs.
Okay. If you weren't playing soccer, what sport would you be playing professionally?
I would pick dance for sure. I would be a DCC girl. Throw me in there.
Wait, what's DCC?
The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. I loved that series.
I was going to say
So good.
Can you do the thunderstruck thing? Have you practiced in your room?
No, but maybe I will do that now for in
You
my
have
spare
to.
time.
Guys, I think I
Yeah.
just got our next TikTok.
I was just about to say we just fueled Shireen's TikTok obsession. Oh no.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Jackie Sawicki coming up with ideas for us, idea generator. Thank you. I'm next. And what was your favorite club growing up and why?
Ooh, favorite club. I didn't watch that much football when I was growing up. I think I was so busy as a kid. Dance would take hours on end, and then I'd drive straight to soccer. But I was obsessed with the French national team for some reason.
Yeah.
I think because I loved Henri. Yeah, anytime there was international, like that was the team that I was rooting for, which sounds so random now, but
No,
yeah.
never.
No.
Not this
Zizou,
generation.
Zidane, like all those
Oh.
guys. Henry,
Yes,
like-
it was definitely quite the generation back then.
Mhm.
So yeah, when they lost to Italy at the World Cup, that
Devastating.
stung.
Okay, a couple more. You've got a week off. Where are you vacationing?
A week off. I've always wanted to go to the Maldives, so I think I'm very much like sun, beach, drink in hand type of vacation. Yeah.
And not a 20-hour flight, hopefully.
Hopefully
Yeah.
not.
Okay, Sigs, you've got our last one.
Okay. Best of Canadian food. A, shawarma. B, poutine. C, butter chicken roti. D, meatball sub. But you can also add in something else
Right.
if you want.
I would pick a shawarma.
Cool.
Love it.
Yep.
You found a
Got
spot in
folks with
Calgary?
shawarmas this season.
Yeah.
There is actually a really good spot in Calgary, which reminds me to go back there. Yeah, it's been a
You
while.
want to shout them out?
I think it's called Shawarma Palace,
Okay.
if I'm right. I think I know where it is on the maps. Name, not 100% sure.
Okay. Well,
Could be
anything
your
that
new
resembles-
spokesperson.
Yeah, exactly.
Jackie, I have a question. My camera's not working, but have you been to the Calgary Stampede?
I have, not necessarily the rodeo part, because we did have matches and we were playing away during that time. But I went to a couple of shows. Yeah. So I don't know if I've really gotten the full experience yet, but we were around it a little bit.
Just on the food scene, because Calgary actually has a pretty good food scene. In fact, fun fact, the best tacos I've ever had in Canada, Birria Tacos, were in Calgary at this beautiful little restaurant, which also happened to be halal, which is crazy.
Very
It was
cool.
so good.
Oh,
It was
yum.
so good.
Yum.
Yeah, it was so good. I'm a sucker
Yeah,
for a good taco.
a few of the girls did an event during the Stampede, and they tried like a lot of weird food. I think like,
I remember seeing that.
yeah, I want to say fried worms or something along those lines. Like super weird. Or maybe it was crickets. I'm not 100% sure. But I just remember being like, I'm so glad I wasn't there.
Right. Dodged a bullet a little bit. Okay, before we let you go, because we've now kept you way over time, we had a match day -1 discussion with Lydia. It was pre your Ottawa match, which you lost. And then, of course, this past weekend, you guys got that crucial victory to get off kind of a poor run of form when you beat Montreal 2-0. But Lydia was talking about changing the mood and the mindset of the group and using a skills stick. So can you please shed light on what this is? Because we Googled, I asked Rian Wilkinson, who is in Wales, and she has like European lineage. I'm like, Rian must know what this is. No idea. So can you shed some light on this, please?
So the skills stick it's like this wooden stick. It's quite thin and quite short. It's almost like the top of a hockey stick.
Okay.
To explain it. Yeah. And it's got a little bit of a different shape. And then you use like a beer pong ball. There's probably a better term for it, but that's what I'm thinking of, a beer pong ball.
Like a ping pong
and you
Like a table
yes,
tennis
yes.
ball.
I love how you're like,
Gosh, I'm
"That's
like,
a
what
beer
kind of
pong
ball
you
is that?
So Calgary Wild fans, beer pong balls and Miss Vicky chips for Jackie Sawicki next time you see her.
Anyways, and you let the ball bounce and you try and get as many, you don't want it to drop on the ground, and you're just focused on it bouncing on the stick. Some of the girls got over like 600 reps.
Oh my gosh.
I'm terrible at it. I'm not quite committed to like getting better yet at it. But yeah, that was something. The point was like, who's got that mental resilience to kind of continue getting better at something was essentially the lesson of it. I want to say I have that mental resilience, but maybe maybe at a later date. Stick. Maybe not with the skill stick. Yeah, but that's what it was.
Okay, very interesting. Thanks for helping us out, because we had no idea. We even had like producers Googling it, and they're like, we got like PlayStation. They're like, we have no idea what she's referring to.
Yeah,
so thank
that's
you so much.
funny.
But thank you so much for joining us. It's just a real pleasure
to
have a chat with you. You're welcome anytime that you like.
Yeah, you as well. You as well.
Thanks,
and
Jackie.
good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Talk soon.
Bye, Jackie.
Bye. That was Jackie Sawicki of the Calgary Wild and, of course, the Philippines national team. I mean, all of our guests have been a real delight. I feel like we've been spoiled here in the BroadsCast. Like now we've had all 6 teams represented on the Broads. But I mean, we got really stuck in there with Jackie, and it got poignant and it got a little bit emotional, as we tend to do here on the BroadsCast. But she was, she was delightful and really kind of dug into some stuff that I wasn't expecting to dig into today.
I got so distracted, I forgot to take a picture.
Screen grab.
Yeah, I'll do it. Do it in post.
You do that for me? Okay, we'll do it in post.
As the people say, yeah.
One of the things I love, and thank you, Amy, for always spearheading and getting these really articulate, profound, and very generous players, like with their knowledge and experience to share. They're incredibly generous. Her insight into what it's like to be Canadian. You can be fully Canadian, play in a Canadian league, but have those connections overseas is so obviously, I feel like so deeply connected to that. And fun fact, I think my daughter played in the match in Tajikistan. Her first cap for Pakistan was against the Philippines. And she probably played against Jackie. And Pakistan lost 4-0, but it was an incredible game. Like, just really heightened, really good. And she said, I think it was Ramesa's first cap for Pakistan. It was against the Philippines, which 4-0, when you consider they were World Cup qualifying team, is pretty good. So yeah, that was just a fun fact. But even those conversations that she bears so much pride in so many ways to so many different connections. This is really important.
Mhm.
And I'm really grateful to her for that, because there's a lot of young players out there that'll probably want to hear that too.
For sure. I felt like the discussion too, like we started a little bit light, like talking about the fact that she's the oldest player on the team
And the
at
shortest.
32 and the shortest. Yes, which is equally as important, Shireen. But like her journey and the like navigating the ebbs and flows of a fledgling pro career where she thought she was done and she gets to come back and play.
Years off.
Yeah.
Like she took 2 years off playing, like
Mhm.
not even,
Yeah.
I mean, playing locally, like
And
just
to even say to us that I thought I'd be in the stands is so,
that was what got me.
what?
I think. Yeah, I almost started
Yeah.
crying for a second week in a row.
I know. And even also, and I almost brought it up, but I was like, we're going to talk for like 45 minutes here, but it reminded me a little bit about myself. Like there was, after I was released in a WSA, I'd played in Bay Area, I'd played in Atlanta. And then as, you know, only 8 teams in that first ever pro league for women, there were only 3 international spots per team. I was let go from Atlanta. And I felt a lot of shame. I felt embarrassed. My self-confidence was completely shattered. And I had an opportunity to go play for New York. And it wasn't like a done deal, like here's the dotted line, sign your name, but here, come and try out and we'll see if you're a good fit. I declined the invitation because I didn't think I was good enough. I was still playing for our national team. I was still captain of our national team. So like her articulation of when she was offered that opportunity with the Philippines, and she's like she felt the need to tell them I'm not playing professionally, like as almost like she had to justify her standing. Like that really resonated with me. And it's a very, and I don't want to pigeonhole anybody or stereotype anybody, it's a very woman athlete thing to think. Of course, other athletes could think it, males as well, but like frequently we underestimate our abilities.
Imposter syndrome. Like
100%. I was going to say that it's absolutely, and the way that listen, if you're meant to play football, you're going to play football. The game, your career will be resuscitated in whatever way it needs to be, even when you think it's done. And I love that. I love that she had that opportunity. Amy, if we were friends back then, I probably would have bullied you into accepting. But I think these are also really pivotal conversations that women should have in sport, that their vulnerability. So this is why and thank you, Amy, for sharing that too, because it's hard. Like I joke about playing left bench at U of T. I got like 10 minutes in a season, and that was really hard because like, you know, you're pretty good in one place and then you go somewhere else and like, you don't get off the bed. Like that's tough.
Yeah.
But that's part of what high sport is, in dealing with these emotions that I don't think there's space enough to talk about it. So thank you, Amy, and the BroadsCast, to you both for having and holding these conversations and creating space for them.
Well, thank you to you both, because we're having these really valuable and meaningful conversations on our WhatsApp group or when we're in person. And we're seriously, like I'm kind of joking, but I'm also really deadly serious that having counterparts, women in sport, in broadcast, in realms that are traditionally dominated by men, we have important conversations about how to stand on our 2 feet and how to stand firm and how to push back when necessary and when to speak up and when to feel that you should be fully confident because you merit that, you've earned it. And you guys are there to stand shoulder to shoulder. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm going to cry now.
Me too. What is the matter with me?
Jesus Murphy, Amy Walsh.
Okay. Are we going to, Sigsy, do you want to chime? Because I'm going to pull up our best 11.
No, but I'm in Halifax, as you guys know, right now, because I'm going to the Tides game for a St. Mary's University alumni event tomorrow night, which I'm excited about, seeing all my old teammates and stuff. But I went to training today, and Erin McLeod walked by me, and I was like, I'm still crying from last week.
She was probably still crying.
She said, me too. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's good. Nice to be at training today. Nice to see these facilities that all these teams have. But just nice to be there in person because as we do call a lot of these matches from Toronto out of the studio. So to be on the ground and be able to talk to the players and just see their day-to-day setup is important. And, if you, again, I'll just throw it out there, a couple games left in the regular season. If you haven't been to an NSL game, get yourself out to an NSL game. Great vibes.
I wanted to kind of do this thing where I went to every single venue and I wasn't able to pull it off this year. There's always next year, but I'm not mad because I'm working, but I'm also just out of sheer interest. And Signa, can I say that we're going to be in Halifax on October 16th? And if you're out there and you're listening, please come say hi.
Is it the 15th or the 16th?
No, I think 16th is the day we're flying home.
Okay.
You're right. It's the 15th. Sorry about that. It's the 15th. We'll be there. I have walked by Wanderers grounds many, many, many times, but to be there in the stands I'm so excited for that. And yeah, so that'll be fun. So if you're out there, Tides people, kitchen party time in whatever way.
It's a wonderful spot, one of the best in the country. Okay, really quick. Our score roundup from week 24 saw AFC Toronto secure the Supporters' Shield and tops of the league in its inaugural year with a 1-0 win over the Ottawa Rapid. As we mentioned with our chat with Jackie Sawicki, Calgary Wild kind of got out of a bit of a slump and beat the Roses at home at Stade Boreal 2-0. And then Halifax Tides tied the Vancouver Rise, that was a lot, 1-1, and the Rise secured their playoff berth with a critical point. From there, we will go straight to our best 11, because we're already 42 minutes in here, guys. So we can talk real quick about, well, listen, it was well worth it. What a great chat with Jackie, I'll say again. So our best 11 from week 24, Annika Toth in net, who was, again, stood on her head in between the sticks for the Tides. Then from right to left, and I've taken some liberties with the positioning here at the back, or Sigs and I have with our 11. So Jasmine Spencer from the Rise, Olivia Scott with the tremendous slide tackle, hat tip to you. Oh, Scott, to save the goal, I think, on Hunter. And then Croy Soto, who's playing unbelievably well, another guest on the Broads. Go back and listen to that interview. And Karima Lemire, who was deployed at left back for the Tides, had the assist on Millie Clegg's goal. Midfield 3 of Ali Hess of the Roses, Emma Regan of AFC Toronto, MDH, Maggie Doherty-Howard of Calgary Wild, and a front 3 of Kaylee Hunter, who scored again, Millie Clegg, who got her first goal in NSL, and Holly Ward, who continues to produce for the Vancouver Rise. But that was, as I mentioned, a really, really big point for them.
Just to jump in, if I can hand over the the Brute Award to Jasmine Spencer, who was bodied many times during that match. And, I know we were excited for Canada placing second in rugby and coming second, but in honor of that, the rugby reward definitely goes to Jasmine Spencer because oh my God, she was in a scrum by herself. So that was a little crazy.
Well, 2 weeks running.
2 weeks running.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row.
Versus Ottawa and then versus the Tides as well. Was put through the ringer. And can we quote our friend, interim head coach for the Halifax Tides, Stephen Hart? What did he say about Spencer, Sigs?
She's like Dimex. She takes a licking and she keeps on ticking. Isn't that what he said?
Yes. I was like, are you waiting for me to chime?
I was waiting. I was going to do the bump, like I do one line and you do the other line, but then I'm fine to do both.
It was still riveting. Both of you. It was riveting.
So any standouts that you guys want to very quickly, or maybe one person that stood out to you this week? Sigs?
Put me on the spot here.
Yeah, 100% on the spot.
I think I'm going to leave Annika Toth to maybe, because I feel like Shireen's going to talk about Annika Toth. Am I right, Shireen?
I thought, talking about her. Yeah, I think she's fantastic.
For me, shout out to Maggie Doherty-Howard. We talked about her a lot this season. I think she's been, alongside Emma Regan, been the midfielder of the year, one of the midfielder of the year candidates. Yeah. And to see their team get back on a winning track, it has been a rough go for the Calgary Wild in the second half of the season. Mm-hmm. And just to see, her score a goal and the joy in which they celebrated the 2 goals that were scored. I think it just showed so much about how trying the last half of the season has been. So shout out to MDH.
If I can just say one thing before getting to Toth, Emma Regan being the Iron Woman of the league, playing every minute, every match. So generally, footballers in 90 minutes can run anywhere from like 9 to 12 kilometers. That means if we average it out at 10, she has run 240 kilometers in this season. And she's if we just do the math on that, which is
I was told
like
there would be no math, but yes, I agree with you.
And
I agree with Shireen.
Like that's like from running from here to, oh my gosh, Windsor is about 300 kilometers, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like that's wild.
It's
like 3
far.
hours away. 3 hours away.
Mhm.
Like it. So, anyways, that for me, anybody who chooses to run voluntarily, I have mad respect for. So that's just, I had to say that because I think that is formidable.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable. And I will say that Hunter with that goal is within, would you say 5 goals with it is within touching distance? She's on 13 and DB Pridham's on 18. I don't know. I think that they both can score goals in bunches, so I don't think it's sewn up yet, is what I'm going to say about it.
Fair enough. Let's create some drama.
That's right.
Towards the end of the season. We know who the
drama pot.
And I love that Hunter's gunning for it. Love that Hunter's gunning for it, and love that DB is like, nah, it's mine. Like I love here for all of it. All of it.
Yes, but held off the score sheet in week 24.
Yes.
So match day 25. So coming at you fast. Signa Butler will be there in person. Halifax Tides versus the traveling Montreal Roses. That is Thursday, October 2nd. And then Saturday, October 4th, your CBC crew with all of these wonderful faces here that you're seeing and hearing is the Calgary Wild versus AFC Toronto. So Jackie Sawicki in action. Bring your chips. Bring your beer pong balls. It's all happening.
That's awesome.
And come for the football, stay for the TikToks.
No.
I will be sending you instructional videos before the broadcast this weekend.
As we all know, Signa needs as much instruction as possible.
Well, clearly I do, because I screwed up the last one. Because you're like, where are you looking in our
It made it guess though. That's what
it was hilarious. I think
looking at the horizon.
And for everybody who doesn't know, we post TikToks after the broadcast, but everyone have posted has been our first and only take. We don't retake it.
We don't mess around.
There's no.
We're sincere in our tomfoolery.
Okay, wait. Can we make another T-shirt? I mean, add that to the list, the long list of T-shirts that we're going to have made here for the BroadsCast. Sincere in our tomfoolery.
Sincere in our tomfoolery.
Okay, on that, my friends, it's time to go. Thank you for broadening your horizons with us. Thanks to our tremendous guest and Jackie Sawicki for joining us. And I don't know what we'll do, guys. We'll have to reset and we'll loop back around again and we'll get some more guests from these 6 clubs, or I don't know what we'll do. We'll shift gears and we'll just get some more guests to come on, because that's what we do here at the Broads. Fly by the seat of our pants, but we're sincere and there's always a lot of tomfoolery. So thanks for listening and watching, and until next time, cheers for watching and listening. I said that a lot. Bye.
So long.
Farewell.